اینجا کاناپ است. لطفاً کانال های گروه کاناپ رو توی یوتیوب سابسکرایب کنید و تیک زنگوله کنار اون رو هم بزنید.
Hello, I'm Elif and this is a recap for episode 96 of the series For My Family, 24 hours after Turkey and before dubbed for TV. When Asiye arrives at the cemetery, a young man standing by his parents' graves notices her distress and follows her. His eyes fall on Akif, who has a gun pointed at his head, and he says to Asiye, "I can't bear it. Forgive me, my beautiful daughter." But just as Akif pulls the trigger, the skilled young man knocks the gun aside, and the bullet hits Akif in the chest. They rush Akif and Asiye to the hospital. When Akif's condition improves, Omar and Asiye stand over him. Akif, with tears in his eyes, asks, "Why didn't you let me die?" Asiye replies, "Because Daruk didn't want that." Nabahat arrives at the hospital and, with tears, embraces Asiye, thanking her for her actions. A week later, Akif is at home, and during breakfast, Nabahat tearfully tells him, "Promise me you won't do something like that again. You can't leave me all alone in the midst of so much pain." Akif reassures her. Ibiki, carrying a plate of borek, heads to the cottage and tells the children that she made it herself for them to eat. However, Omar, who still can't believe her, takes it to his uncle's house and says, "We're just tenants here. That's it. We have no relation to each other. No need for these things." Ayla finds her mother Elif's purse and phone in the storage room and sees her birth certificate. She hides the purse and phone while observing Berk's reaction, puzzled by what she's discovered. Asiya arrives at school, and all her memories with Daruk come flooding back, bringing tears to her eyes. Cheval stands in front of the school's entrance and gives warnings to all the children about their behavior. The Erns understand that challenging days await them when they see her. Akif, curious about the whereabouts of Mahir, the young man who saved his life, eventually locates him. Upon arriving at his workplace, Akif encounters several individuals threatening him due to his brother's imprisonment. He intervenes but is met with rude behavior from his employer. He warns his boss to watch his conduct, but the man fires Mahir. Seeing Mahir's guitar, Akif reminisces about Daruk and asks him to have lunch together. Susan blocks Omar's path at school and says, "You won't even look at my face anymore?" Omar replies, "Now that you know, just leave me be." With resentment, Susan asks, "Did you never like me at all?" Omar says, "I don't have any feelings for you anymore." Yuljan tries to comfort Susan, embraces her, and says, "He'll forgive you eventually. I'll talk to him." Berk takes the purse with Sarif's ID card to school and tells Ibiki that her mother threw it in the trash. Berk opens the purse, but when he doesn't find anything inside, he feels relieved. However, when Ibiki is alone, she searches the purse again and finds Sarif's ID card and Elif's picture, shocking her. Omar is in the middle of writing a teaching announcement on the school boards when Cheval arrives and says, "You can't do this without my permission." She tears the announcement apart. Omar angrily declares that he will hold a math class and gathers a few students, asking Cheval to back off. Sarp confronts Omar, and Tolga steps in, holding him back, telling Omar not to fight with them. Mehi tells Akif about his wealthy parents who died in an accident, leaving him and his brother with a heavy debt. His brother resorted to illegal activities to escape debtors and ended up in prison. Mehi works hard and sleeps at his workplace to make ends meet. Akif, reminded of Daruk upon seeing Mehi, offers to help him. Mehi declines, saying he doesn't need assistance, and stays with his friends. However, Akif follows him, realizing he has no friends, and takes him along. That night, Helmi arrives at the children's cabin with a package and says the postman brought it late, mentioning some issues. When Asiya opens the package, she finds a letter from Daruk and a key inside, leaving her shocked. Daruk asks her to come to him for a surprise. Asiya and Omar set off on their way. At night, Ibiki tells Shingul the story of Sarif's purse and phone, and Shingul is surprised but doesn't remember anything and suggests not telling Berk about it. Akif takes Mehi to his place and introduces him to Nabahat, saying he'll stay with them tonight. Nabahat reluctantly agrees. While Akif talks to Mehi, he mentions that Mehi reminds him of Daruk, leaving Nabahat surprised. Asiya arrives at Akif's house, goes to Daruk's room, and tells Nabahat about the package incident. They open Daruk's closet and turn on a projector he had placed there. A video of Asiya and Daruk dancing together starts playing. Nabahat and Asiya watch it with tears in their eyes. Asiya shares her memories of that day with Nabahat and expresses how much she misses Daruk. Nabahat hugs her tightly. On the other side, Omar scolds Akif for what he did and mentions, "You forced Melissa, didn't you?" Akif responds, "She was in a bad situation. I helped her escape." Omar says, "Was it worth it? You killed your own son." Akif breaks down in tears and says, "Do you know the last thing Daruk said? He said, 'May God damn you.'" Omar is deeply affected by this revelation. In the morning, when Akif wakes up and sees Maya playing the guitar and singing a song for Bahar, he is reminded of Daruk. Maya wants to leave, but Akif insists on having breakfast with them. Nabahat becomes annoyed. Shortly after, when Nabahat sees Maya sitting at the table where Daruk used to sit, she angrily tells him to move. She says, "That's my son's place. Get up." Akif then takes Maya to a corner and scolds him, saying, "That's not Daruk. He's not our son." Akif suggests helping Maya, but Nabahat breaks down in tears and calls Akif insane. Maya, having heard their conversation, apologizes and leaves. Sarp, in school, hears everyone talking about Omar's success in the upcoming exam, so he follows Omar to the school storage room and locks him inside to prevent him from taking the test. Akif is relentless and follows Maya. Maya asks him to let him go, but Akif insists, saying, "What if I put you in my son's place? Let's go, pay off your brother's debt, and set him free. I don't want you to be alone. I'll lend you money and deduct it from your salary. I'll be your driver. Let's go to your house and show you around. You have a good roommate there too." Maya agrees and goes with him. In class, Asiya overhears Sarp talking about locking Omar up with Yasmin and attacks him. Susan supports Asiya, and Sarp says, "Still obsessed with them? They don't even look at you." Susan replies, "Yes, you're stuck in the past. If you hadn't been so careless, Daruk would still be alive." An argument ensues, and the principal intervenes, trying to find Omar. Susan meets with Nabahat to have a conversation and tells her about Maya's situation. Tearfully, Nabahat says, "Akif is suffering." Susan consoles her, saying, "Your grief is still fresh. Everyone copes with their pain differently. Give yourselves some time." The principal has punished Asiya, Omar, and Sarp, making them clean the schoolyard. Meanwhile, Susan arrives and confronts Cheval. Cheval insists that the place is now theirs, but Asiya reminds her that they've paid their tuition, and as top students in the school, no one can expel them. Cheval leaves in frustration. Akif takes Maya to Tolga's house and introduces them to each other. Asiya, Ibk, and Burke have gone out together. When Burke sees Asiya saddened, he says, "Daruk wanted you to be happy forever." They remember Daruk's words about his death and decide to fulfill the things he wished for. They go to the beach, feed the birds, listen to the song Daruk loved, and dance. Burke sings a song by Daruk's grave. At night, Shingal calls Ayla and tells her that Burke saw Sarp's wallet and phone in the trash can, which terrifies Ayla. Ibk, who is eavesdropping on their conversation, becomes shocked when she overhears the story of Sarp's murder by Ayla. Omar has been working in a neighborhood bakery for some time, and the owner's son, Denture, constantly makes him do extra work and mistreats him. Due to this, he frequently hears his father scold him. One night, when Helmire goes to buy flour, she sees Denture attacking Omar from behind and the bag of flour falling off his shoulder. The bakery owner reprimands Omar and threatens to deduct from his wages. Helmire informs Orhan about this, and Orhan, in anger, goes to investigate the matter. On the other hand, Omar tells his boss about Denture's actions and lists all the harassment and laziness he has endured. Denture and Omar get into a fight, and Denture attempts to attack Omar with a knife. At that moment, Orhan arrives, intervening to protect Omar, and Denture accidentally stabs himself, falling to the ground. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode.
لایک کردن این ویدیو به معنی تعریف از ما نیست. به یوتیوب کمک میکنه تا این ویدیو رو به کسانی که دنبالشن پیشنهاد کنه. کانال های گروه کاناپه رو توی یوتیوب سابسکرایب کنید و تیک زنگوله کنار اون رو هم بزنید.